Okay, we're going to get into the meat of this. In respect to time, I'm going to save my remarks for how special the Hall of Fame is, and yada yada yada. I think we all understand where we're coming from with that. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up the first person to introduce the first inductee, and that's Vince Pastorino.
Feel shame.
Never get you
Stop! And speaking of shame, where were half of you last night? It was a kind of a small turnout.
Nobody fucking told us about it.
And Jimmy's like, well, I'm 58. If I make it one more year, I'll be 59. And my granddad and my great-grandfather died at 59. And what was generally sad about that was Franklin thinks he has friends.
When he does that. So change.
True story. To the 90s, a lot of stalwarts in the second row, like Big Bob, like Chris Kale, like Chris Stockard. Have a revolving door at fly half in this club. But we didn't have a dominant second row. You. And I understand that. But we were winners, and so Scotty Cram and I were sitting on the hill at Gillum Park, and I don't remember if it was 99 or whenever it was, but short time after that, points. I never lost. I know some of you played for City. So Derek comes. Derek came and immediately etched his name in the starting lineup for many years until we completed our run in the Super League. His name was etched in there, Bill Hill. Eventually we had like Franklin Brace. They helped us be super competitive in a national league. We made a couple Final Fours in the Super League. 3 years in a row, and a bunch of guys to play for us. They both fancied themselves as place carriers too. Remember that we had that revolving door and fly half. In one game, Derek and Lawler both were warming up, and I don't remember which one pulled their hammy, but one of them pulled their hammy that was dominant. We had a lot of speedy backs, but we had a pack that was dominant. Tim Clumpers, Jimmy King, Brad Hughes, Steve Rocky, Bealey, Siva, Simon Langhorne, Gordo came over. I mean, that pack was humming, and I as a scrum. The other thing about Derek is he's a regular player, he's a tough SOB. He's also got the largest bladder in Kansas City Blues history. And this has been documented, and it was mentioned last night. He stood up off the bar for 4 hours. I've been sitting here 4 hours drinking beer. First time I'm going to the bathroom. He wants to hold on to that title. It was confirmed on a bus trip home from Seattle, and some idiot probably went to K-State. Sorry, some of you. I'm pretty sure it originated with the K-State. You'll back me up, right, Ty? Stop. Just to prove the point. His parents must be so proud. Speaking of family, Derek's a great father to his beloved daughters, Kate and Barrett. I know those two girls are the first two he writes down on his starting lineup in life. I've had the pleasure of seeing him be a single, dumb rugby guy become into a great father. And I believe, yes, it's up behind me. So once Derek stopped playing, Derek was the right player at the right time for this club. He also evolved into a great club guy and a great blues brother, who always raised his hand for this club. Derek, you've waited patiently. You never raised your hand for this. I want to thank you for everything you've done as a teammate, a friend. We had a lot of fun, we had a blast, we won a lot. We won the post-match festivities. I'm glad there were no camera phones back then. I want to thank you for all your hard work off the field since then too, because some of us haven't put in the work as much as you have. You truly deserve this honor, and I'm very happy to present the newest member of the Kansas City Blues Hall of Fame, Derek Manley.
Okay. I was sitting there thinking, you know, I've done this for many years as president. I always had a spiel, always talked too long, always went off on tangents. But always had something to say. It's a lot different when it's a privilege to be in here with Mike and Connor, who I've gotten to know very well over the years. And they're two great guys and very deserving. So it's an honor to be in with them. I'd also like to thank my family for being here. I've been blessed with the best love and support on this journey, and to Kate and Barrett for continue to grow, and to strong, intelligent young women. So thank you. I love you both. But it's no joke. I mean, you know, I can talk about rugby for hours. I can throw stories back and forth, but man, when it comes to talking about yourself, I mean, there's some of this room that are really good at that. And we all know who that is. But anyway, so here goes. So just bear with me. This is from the heart, and once again, it's anyway. The Hall of Fame process has been an interesting time for me, and I'm sure it is for most that are lucky enough to have this opportunity. It's a chance to sit and reflect on many things, not just rugby, but you know, the question, how did I get here? And the amazing journey to this point. I know, this is where you guys think I'm going to tell you my life story and settle in, and it's going to be an hour or so. It's not, it'll go pretty quick. You know, this is just going to, the rugby part of this is the focus. Anyway. And I was going to say, you know, we're not going to dwell on some of the other things in my life, like the limited relationship successes that Vinny touched on, but we'll just move right past that. 182, somewhere in there, and I caught a USA versus Canada rugby game, which is weird that Sports Network hasn't showed another rugby game since. But they will show cornhole, pickleball, and from that moment I was intrigued by the sport. I grew up playing baseball, basketball, and soccer. My dad kind of ruined football for me in my mother's eyes, so that wasn't an option. However, soccer was a godsend for me, and it gave me a window into international sports versus being sort of landlocked by U.S. sports. That was the initial jersey, if you guys remember those, if you're old enough to remember that. I bought a random long sleeve t-shirt from Gary Gribbles at Ward Parkway that said Scrub. There was a picture. And this stuff was just coming my way, and I didn't really know why. You know, I was just like, it was just intrigued, it was interesting. You know, I didn't college, things were just happening. Then in high school I had a biology teacher, played for City, that took us a bunch of us out in the spring and kind of showed us the ins and outs, you know. All of this was building. So when I landed on campus at KU, I signed up for rugby, went out to 23rd in Iowa in the fall of '88. It was a great experience and a seminal jumping off point to where I am today. Gentlemen like Rick Renfro, Louis Reeder, Pat Roberts, and many other Jayhawks that I know many in this room battled for years, and including one of my great friends and lifelong rugby mate, Grant Lechtenberg, who made the trip tonight from Lawrence. All these people helped me not only learn the game, but to also make the universal bond. It truly, in my mind, in my eyes, it was like no other sport. It's the most violent games played with deference to your opponent and the referee, and it's all, you know, summarized in the after-match camaraderie. The world opened up not only because of the tours to Ireland, Canada, and South Africa that I was able to go on, but because of the imports that came over for rugby. Kiwis, South Africans, Welsh, Aussies, you know, you name it. They brought and still bring an appreciation for the game as well as style and knowledge that we emulate and admire. We were playing their game and they played it better than us. It was humbling, but also a challenge at what seems like a never-ending learning curve. I've always loved that about rugby. It's like, what do we you know, it just keeps going and going and going and growing. It's always fascinating to me. I had many great years at KU battling the evil Blues Empire. I was fortunate to begin playing when I did. I got to play against the old, not the old, but the old guard. So Chris Stockards, Leo, Kennedy, Big Bob, Franklin, Tanner, the Tripp brothers, Billy, and of course Chuck. It was the man that I look forward to the most. We wanted to be the best at KU, and that meant beating the Blues. Unfortunately, it didn't happen very often. I remember playing our guts out at 103rd Park in a wet game, and we built a damn good team. We played hard, and every man was gutted at the end. We lost by 10 or 12 points. I was upset. I walked by Billy. I'll never forget this. He was bent down to pick up the game ball. And I was just head down. God, we gave it everything we had. We felt we were so close. And then he goes, I don't think he was talking to me. I think he was just saying, he goes, that shit was easy. and that hurt. I mean, it hurt bad. And I knew Billy kind of from his sarcasm on the field and that. But that was a punch in the gut. But later I reflected on that one comment, and he understated it a bit. But because of their confidence, training, ability, and toughness, it was easy in a way. That is what they trained for, and they did what they were supposed to do. I respected that. I learned from that comment. I learned that from that feeling. There was another time, it was either Franklin or Clompers, and neither of them will admit it. They broke my nose in a ruck during a game at Swope. I had a breakaway and ran out of room. I ran out of room. He got caught, and because my support was late, like they were all that day, I hung on to the ball a little too long, maybe. And Clump was yelling, "Let go of the ball!" And all of a sudden, I got dotted hard. He said it was John, and I did see John after I kind of looked up. I saw John backpedaling in that who me look. He's like back like this, he was backpedaling. So, I mean, thanks. It still looks good though. I mean, all this stuff kind of led to what I call the move, the transition in my life that in our small little rugby world was a big deal to me. Coach Ron Conlon, who rest in peace, was a South African coach that coached for the Blues. His son Sean Conlon played for the Blues, was a great player. He moved up and started coaching KU. So he was a big influence. I'd also met Frank and Nancy Mercatani through Rick Renfro. Ron was the ultimate in positivity and made you believe you could do anything. And Frank and Nancy were so kind, and I love talking rugby with both of them. Long story short, KU club-side competitive days were kind of on the downside. At the urging of Ron, Rick, Frank, and others, I went to South Africa to experience a great rugby, improve my game, see the world, and just live. Along with my summers in Jackson Hole, South Africa was the best experience of my pre-family life. Maybe there's maybe a few dead shows in there that I enjoyed a lot too. But anyway, I digress. When I returned, I went back to KU for a year, then off to the Blues. It was really, really hard, and I do mean that. You think, just hey, go team up with a winner. But for me, it was at a deeper level than that. It wasn't. Winning was good, but it was more about the people that had brought me up, lifted me up, and embraced me. It wasn't just throw on a different jersey. So I really wrestled with it. I know I've said that a couple times, but that really rings true. And like I said, but not from a rugby standpoint, but because those were my roots, my mates, my formative rugby years. But it was time for the small town kid to, as Vince said, kind of head to the city. A big catalyst and what made me feel welcome was piggybacking on Vince's story. We played against a pretty good team. He didn't give City enough credit. They had like Dunning and a couple other players. They're pretty good, but they did beat us that day. And I kind of was like, that was kind of the deal. I was sick of it. I was like, you know what? I'm 27. I got to figure something out. I got to get going here. I've got my windows closing, and that was it. I made the tough decision. I had a very hard discussion with Grant and a couple other people, and I made the move. And I'm glad I did. it was an awesome rugby experience, and it was a lot easier from the community standpoint, having lived in Kansas City. Playing in the Super League was amazing. Playing with guys that I looked up to, sometimes feared, but always knew that they were going to play their best, and we could beat the best. It was the first time in years that I could just play my game and not worry about covering the wing or dropping back for kicks. I could just be the best lock I could be. And that's what I was told to do. Just go do your job, and everything will take care of itself. There were a million, so many teammates that were so influential. Rocky, Pete, Brad, Clumpers, Russo, Lawler, Travis, Doug Brown, Scan, Veely, Siva, Jim King, Jackman. I mean, just on and on and on. And if I forgot you, I didn't mean to. But all these people, you show up on a Tuesday and Thursday, and my eyes would light up. I mean, I knew it was going to be hard, but we got to play rugby. You know, that's what we get to do. It was incredible, and we had to play with these guys. The road trips were epic. We all have those generational stories of the road trips, the Winnebagos, the plane rides. I remember coming back, this was obviously before 9/11, coming back and bringing the cases of beer through the luggage belt through, make sure there was no guns in them, and they give us back the cases. Then we drink the cases on the plane. On the plane back to Kansas City, we land in Kansas City, then we go to the Falloon. And that was a Sunday. It was awesome. What? Hurry up. Anyway, it was an honor. It was an honor. Every game I felt lucky to be on the pitch with these guys. I get to play rugby with these guys. They made me better by demanding the blue standard. We had success in the Rugby Super League, but it took a toll. We had a mass retirement, and things got tough at the club. I call it the dark era. Low numbers, lopsided scores not in our favor. No real saviors appeared to be on the way. I retired in 2008. I put a nice little bow on a 20-year rugby career. I was done with rugby, or so I thought. I was prepared to become a supporter and enjoy the sunshine and cold drinks with my fellow retired teammates. Then I got two separate calls. One was from Klump or Friedkin about club elections we were having at Mike's, and I'd be able to attend. And Matt Tanner called me about coaching Blue Valley. I took both calls and subsequently became the new Blues president for the next 7+ years and coached BV for 4. I'm grateful for both of those opportunities because I loved rugby and I didn't know how I was going to stay involved. Truthfully, I was going through athlete withdrawal. I was so used to being programmed for Tuesday, Thursday practices, weekend games, sevens, whatever and wherever rugby took me. As I mentioned, most of you know, the post-Rugby Super League was tough, but I also believe made this club grow and move into a different era of rugby in the U.S. and a different mindset of today's athletes. The traditional approach or options for playing practice, although the Chiefs practice facility was nice, had changed. Joe Friedkin and Clumpers had set the ball in motion with Sporting, and through that tenuous and somewhat pricey arrangement, we were able to begin again and recruit and have a very nice rugby venue. But none of this would have been possible, and I mean this sincerely, without the heroes of that era. When I left, and when I came in and transitioned back in, yes, we were on an upswing. But those 13, 15 guys, and a lot of you guys are here, that were at practice, and it looked bleak. 13 guys, and you had a game, and you had to keep the club, and everybody's depending on you. You guys are my heroes in that transition, and I think that, yeah.
Good job, Caleb. It's all you, Caleb. Good job, Keith.
Anyway, I'm close, John. Just relax. Yours was real long, remember? Money, Couché, Gunnar, Keith, Panama, the Caleb, Chris George, on and on. Just thank you for keeping it together, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those guys. PK, huge. You know I'm your biggest fan. He's really a big reason why we're here. My favorite times were in the cage. One of my favorite things to do in rugby when I became president, and like I said, I've only got one more. So, was to work all week, get to that game, get to the cage, get everything set up, get everything arranged, get the vending, get the sound system, whatever. And then say my hellos, and then I would take a couple beers and I'd go to that south end. And I would sit there in the tri-zone with me, maybe one other person, and just sit there and just take it all in on a beautiful Saturday night at Swope Park, the sun setting. It was zen to me. It was my moment. It was my escape, and it's something that I really loved. And it was because everything was in place, and all the wonderful people and players, and the game that I loved so much was happening right there. And it was just, as I was writing this, it was one of my favorite things. Anyway, I was able to accomplish a lot in post-playing days, and I'm proud of the work of the State of the Club. We had to keep going, and everyone should aspire to do their best. Please remember your playing window is short, so don't take it for granted. Your support for the club is needed, and you do make a difference. Every one of you make a difference when you do something. Just something. Just do something. I have been lucky to be part of a few tribes. My family, which I love and appreciate beyond words, and my rugby family. It's been a great ride, seeing every one of their families and all the cool things that we've accomplished and all the memories we share. That is what it's all about. Make memories, keep close those special people, keep making memories, and enjoy your time, and win some rugby games along the way, okay? Once again, thank you so much for the honor. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for supporting the club. And please, always be grateful, and go Blues.
Yeah.